The next speaker is the Center for Development of Democracy and Human Rights, to be followed by the Ukrainian Helsinki Human Rights Union. Center for Development of Democracy and Human Rights, you have the floor, please.
Thank you. I'll start with two recommendations. First, strong, consistent, multilateral pressure on the government of Turkmenistan to end enforced disappearances in prisons must be renewed and coordinated among relevant international bodies, including the OSCE, the United Nations, and the EU, and concerned states. Secondly, at the same time, ODIHR and OSCE participating states should redouble their efforts and resources in the field of torture prevention and include enforced disappearances in the scope of their work to combat torture. Enforced disappearances is a grave human rights violation according to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and is a form of inhuman and degrading treatment, both for the disappeared and their families, thus falling also under the scope of the UN Convention Against Torture. The crime of enforced disappearances continues unabated in Turkmenistan. The authorities impose this cruel and illegal punishment on people they consider a political threat to their absolute power due to their opinion, influence, or visibility. Since 2002, hundreds of disappearances have occurred in the country. The international campaign Prove They Are Alive has documented over 120 cases. Of these, at least 27 people have died in custody. The true number of people forcibly disappeared and who have died in custody is no doubt much, much higher. The prison terms of over a dozen individuals on the list have already expired or will expire in 2019 and 20, including those of Konstantin Shikhmuradov and Anagildiak Muradov this autumn. This makes the issue of disappearances more urgent than ever. The fate of these individuals is unknown, except that of a civic activist, Gulgildiana Niyazov, who instead of being released in March 2019 after having served his full 11-year prison sentence, was transferred from prison to a remote place of internal exile, where he is living in terrible conditions. Special attention to this group could mean the difference between life and death, as there is a high risk that they will receive new prison terms on fabricated charges. Since September last year, the limited but positive trend with some initial steps by the Turkmen government on dialogue with the UN Working Group on Enforced Disappearances and providing visitations to a handful of prisoners in the notorious Obadan Depe prison has reversed when public pressure was replaced with a quite diplomatic dialogue. The Turkmen government re-entrenched its positions, abruptly ended dialogue with the UN Working Group, and did not include any of the relevant UPR commitments in the work plan. As in the past, the state has failed to disclose information about the disappeared, has not implemented relevant decisions by international bodies, and instead simulates an ineffective dialogue with international organizations. It is high time to stop this game and the barbaric practice of disappearing people to end. Thank you.